This is K1DBC. All stations please stand by. The Denver Radio Club Learning Net starts in 5 minutes.
W0TX repeater.
I like ARDF because it's a good amalgamation of amateur radio, and it's good for people that like the outdoors because you have to be able to take bearings on maps, and it's basically a mix of orienteering and amateur radio, and it's something that caters for everyone because you have the people that like the construction, that can build the receiver kits, and then you have the people that like going out and doing the physical side of it.
Whether it's receiving video from the International Space Station, restoring classic broadcast vehicles, going out portable and operating from a hilltop, or experimenting with Raspberry Pis, amateur television has got something for everybody.
Radio construction is all about building your own radio equipment, and I like it because it helps you to understand the theory and the technology behind it. It's extremely rewarding. You get immense satisfaction from using something that you've built yourself, and I guess that's true whether it's a steam engine, an aeroplane, or a piece of radio equipment.
I love data contesting because it gets to use all the technology that I've learned, and I get to use it on the radio. I get to just be me, my call sign. The club I belong to has a really good contest group, so we all compete against each other.
I like shortwave DXing because of the buzz I get when I make a long distance, sometimes challenging contact. When I hear a weak, watery, fluttery signal come over the North Pole from the Pacific, some remote island, and I can work it with I can contact it with my station, it makes my day.
Moon Bounce is bouncing amateur radio signals off the moon and receiving them back on Earth. Why am I passionate about it? It represents the greatest technical challenge there is in amateur radio. For me, it's the heavy metal end of amateur radio. Large aerials, lots of metal in the sky, and lots of power.
So space communications is setting up a communications link between two stations, perhaps not normally able to do so with terrestrial communications. So what we do is we use satellites in order to be able to extend how far our signal can get. And what really gets me interested in space communications is the challenge. The additional effort that's involved there, that I can use a satellite that's been built by radio amateurs just like me, and we can use that to extend how far we can get with our communications, perhaps even to the other side of the world.
s.t.e.m is summits in the air, which is when you climb up a mountain and transmit from the top to see how many contacts you can get. I like s.t.e.m because it combines two hobbies that I'm passionate about, and that's amateur radio and hiking in the mountains. s.t.e.m brings a new challenge to amateur radio, and that's trying to make a contact while the elements are fighting against you, and that's why I feel that one contact on the top of a mountain is worth more than 50 in the log.
I find it fascinating because there's so much change as in many other areas. Particularly, for example, we have these wonderful tiny devices that come from mobile phones and that sort of thing that we can re-engineer into amateur products and services, and we also need to find the ways to deal with them, to manage to handle them because they're so tiny. This doesn't just apply to the products, the physical device, it also applies in terms of software. Amateurs are reusing software into new applications all the time.
It's immense.
Limitless.
Opportunity.
Sheer diversity.
Vast.
Inclusive.
Breathtaking.
Fascinating.
It's the challenge.
It's educational and it's fun.
The beauty of the hobby for me is the diversity. You haven't got time to do everything, but that's fine, because if there's one thing that you don't like, try something else. There's a million different aspects of the hobby, and there's something out there for everyone.
This is K1DBC. The DRC Learning Net will start in 1 minute. All stations, please stand by. Hello and welcome back to the Denver Radio Club Learning Net. For March 1st, 2023, it's a great place to learn about ham radio, STEM topics in general, and thankfully we have plenty of combined experience and expertise. This is Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie K1 DBC. My name is Daron, Delta Oscar Romeo Oscar November, and I am the net control for this evening's Learning Net. I want to give a shout out for the second month in a row, N0TRP Jim for taking the net during the fourth Wednesday of the month during the board meeting, and I'm unable to attend this meeting here, this net here. So again, thanks N0TRP Jim for taking net control last week. It looks like you all talked about GMRS radios and repeaters in the Denver area, 10-meter activity, J-pole with ladder line, balloon repeater, hamstick dipole, chameleon mag loop, and 1.2 gigahertz activity. So it sounded like you all had a great net last week. So yeah, again, this week we'll be taking your comments, questions, anything that you want to discuss, any projects you're working on. That's what this net is here for. So again, we meet every Wednesday except the third Wednesday of the month at 7:30 p.m. on 145.490 and 448.625. You can contact us, Elmer at w0tx.org, most social media at Denver Radio Club. Again, we stream and archive our nets on YouTube, youtube.com/Denver Radio Club. So if you'd like to see behind the scenes or visual context, that is an additional way to view the net. And if you can't make the repeater, or if you want to check out the net after it's live, that's a way to do that. This net can be broken at any time for emergency or priority traffic by using the word break. Is there any emergency or priority traffic at this time? All check-ins to the net will be taken in alphabetical groups based on the first letter of the suffix of the operator's call sign. That is the first letter after the number in the call sign. If you can, please try to use ITU phonetics or some sort to make your call sign unique and pop out there and make it easy for net control to hear that. So for your call sign at least, and indicate if you have traffic or questions as you check in. If your suffix begins with the letters A through M, Alpha through Mike, please check in now.
Kilo Foxtrot 0 Bravo Alpha Kilo David Lakewood.
W0TX repeater.
November 0 Echo Yankee Zulu Jim in South Jeffco.
November 1 Golf Uniform Mike Peter in Littleton.
Kilo 0 Lima Alpha India K0 LAI Larry in Lakewood.
Kilo Foxtrot 0 Alpha Whiskey Charlie Brian Wheat Ridge. No traffic.
All right, this is Daron, K1DBC Net Control. We'll hold up there for just a moment. All right, this is Net Control. I'd like to welcome in all of the following check-ins. I think it was this call sign. I apologize, David. We had KF0BAK, David, I think, check in. That was the first person to check in. If that call sign was wrong or if it needs to be updated, let me know.
That was correct. KF0BAK. Kilo Foxtrot 0 Bravo Alpha Kilo.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for the confirmation there. Perfect. I was getting a little distracted. We also had N0TOA, Jim, checking in online. Really do appreciate that. And then we had N0EYZ, Jim, checking in over the air. N1GUM, Peter. K0LAI, Larry. And KF0AWC, Brian. So thank you all so much for checking in. All right, this is Daron, K1DBC Net Control. We'll go ahead and up the whole alphabet. This is K1DBC. If your suffix begins with the letters A through Z, Alpha through Zulu, please call now.
Kilo Echo 0, Sierra Uniform Mike, Jonathan Lakewood. Daron, it's nice to hear so many familiar call signs.
Kilo Charlie
Whiskey Alpha 4, Mike Bravo Golf, Bob and Aurora.
Familiar call sign.
November 0, Tango Romeo Papa, Jim in Lakewood. Good evening.
Bravo Golf.
Kilo Charlie
Whiskey Alpha 4, Mike.
David, Denver, no traffic. Kilo Charlie 8, Hotel Charlie Foxtrot, Jonathan, Brighton.
Kilo Foxtrot 0, Foxtrot Papa India, Ron in Lakewood.
All right, this is Daron, K1DBC Net Control. We'll hold up there for just a moment. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. We had KE0SUM Jonathan. I think there was a double in there, but I got WA4MBG Bob. I think the other one may have been KC8HCF Jonathan. And then we also had N0TRP Jim, AE0SF Steve, and KF0FPI Ron. So if you did try to check in and I didn't read back your call sign, please call now. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I was trying to go back on the YouTube video and catch that, but glad you checked back in there, Jonathan. KC8HCF, and yeah, really appreciate hearing everyone on the air here this evening. So again, once more, at the moment, if you'd like to check into the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net, a great place to learn about ham radio, STEM, s.t.e.m, all the topics surrounding this hobby. We're taking all call signs, all call suffixes. Please check in now with your call sign, your name, and let us know if you have any traffic or questions as you do. All right, this is Daron, K1DBC Net Control. Again, welcome everyone to this evening's Learning Net, a great place to learn about ham radio STEM topics. If you had checked into the YouTube video, I was playing a video from the Radio Society of Great Britain. ARL equivalent from over the seas. Just a pretty good video about what is amateur radio and all the possibilities. So pretty cool thing to check in there. A lot of cool stuff, and there's a lot of wonderful things to do at this hobby. So many aspects it can be hard to describe and difficult to know what first to try. They try to give many exciting challenges and fun, exciting things you can do. So. Amateur radio direction finding, digital communications, radio construction, radio contesting, DXing, space communications. There's a ton of stuff out there. So this is Duran K1DBC. I don't see anyone indicated they had any comments or questions so far for this evening's net. You can check in at any given time when nobody else is keying up. Again, last week you guys spoke about GMRS radios, 10 meters, activity, a balloon repeater, hamstick dipole, chameleon. So I'll throw it out to the group. I can bring up quite a few things here if needed, but anyone else at the moment, any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else you'd like to discuss, please call now. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. One thing I did want to briefly touch on before I forgot was about net mode and the repeater. A couple of weeks ago, we had some interference on the repeater. And at this point, basically, net mode operations, I think the repeater controller has been reset or changed. So net mode is essentially off all the time. So it requires a PL tone all the time, even during a net. So even during that interruption, unfortunately, there was nothing that we could do to make it more difficult for somebody to access the repeater. So hopefully we don't see too much of that. Hopefully that didn't happen last week, but I just wanted to touch on that. Yeah, it's net mode is always off right now until our repeater is updated or whatnot. So basically it makes it as difficult for someone to get in. So there'd be nothing we could do. So yeah, there's a timeout. So just wanted to touch on that here real quick. Only because I had gotten confused when talking about that. Again, we can talk about plenty of stuff here. There's a lot of stuff going on. Obviously, one of the bigger stories was about the balloon that was shot down by the U.S. Air Force.
Might have doubled. KE0SUM, Jonathan Lakewood.
All right, sorry about that, SUM. So if there was somebody else trying to get in there, go right ahead.
I am. Test 1, 2, 3.
W0TX repeater.
KE0SUM, got you loud and clear.
TRP.
This is Daron, K1DBC Net Control. KE0SUM, I did hear you loud and clear there, but N0TRP as well. If you guys can't hear me, let me know.
This N0TRP. I do hear you, Jerome, but I'm not sure Jonathan is. He was transmitting on top of you. I could hear him a couple of times there, so I'm not sure he's hearing you. And I just had a question on the net mode. Is the timer on, and if so, how long is it? How many minutes?
This is K1DBC Net Control. All right, sorry, Jonathan, not too sure what's going on there, but yeah, I'm just transmitting on 145490 with the normal offset. So you should be able to just tune in on the regular repeater. But yeah, we're hearing you loud and clear, but I'm not sure if you hear us. So net mode timeout time, I don't know exactly, TRP. I think it's in the range of 5 to 10 minutes, but I don't know exactly. I know that a recent Sunday night net controller got timed out after not too long, so I think it's about 5 minutes.
Okay, this N0TRP. I was thinking 2 or 3 minutes, but just not sure. I'm just kind of curious. N0TRP, back to net.
Doesn't that look nice? VP5. All right. This is K1 DBC Net Control. Jonathan, yeah, hopefully you can hear us either on the YouTube or somewhere here, but let us know. I don't know specifically again on the timeout, but it should be fairly generous, but less generous unfortunately than before. So this is K1 DBC Net Control. Anyone else at the moment? Any other comments, questions so far for anything we've brought up so far? Anything you want to bring up? Let us know. All right, this is Daron, K1 DBC Net Control. Jonathan or anyone else, any given time, let us know. I'll throw it out to the group again. Plenty of topics we can discuss, lots of recent news, lots of recent articles, lots of recent things. Always check out arl.org/news for more information on state of the hobby, and our recent club newsletter was sent out. If you're a member of the club, you'll see that, but it's also on our webpage. You can get that. So anyone else at the moment, please call now. All right, this is Daron, K1 DBC Net Control. Just because it's a little bit relevant, but very briefly discussed, the U.S. Air Force almost declares war on Illinois' amateur radio amateurs. So this specific is an article written by Jenny List on hackaday.com. Gives a pretty good brief description of this. This was on February 18th, written at least. Humor may have overshadowed the events. It seems like one of the craft they have shot down was amateur radio Pico balloon, helium-filled Mylar party balloon with a tiny solar-powered whisper transmit at its payload. Balloon thought to have been shot down, launched by Northern Illinois' Bottle Cap Balloon Brigade, a group of radio amateurs who launch small helium-filled Mylar balloons carrying the barest minimum for solar-powered Whisper beacon. Whisper we've talked about in the past, a weak signal propagation reporter, and it was last seen, or call sign K9YO, last seen off Alaska February 11th. Their website at the moment is down, so I'm not too sure really. I'm not too sure if an official story really has come out. So over on rtl-sdr.com, they give a little bit more a Q&A. I'll drop to see if anybody has anything so far. Otherwise, I bring up a couple more things on this. All right, some frequently asked questions over on the blog, rtl-sdr.com, as in software-defined radios. So some frequently asked questions here about this. Sorry for scrolling back up and down here. Who's launching balloons and why? They're typically launched by amateur radio hobbyists, university researchers, schools, STEM programs. Idea of launching a low-cost balloon can be tracked while traveling the world. Is a fun project for hobbyists and great STEM learning experiences for kids. There's no legality issues with it. One of the main questions I'm sure we all have is FT22, a plane that is with all its radio sensors should have picked up the transmissions from the Pico balloon. Why didn't it? This balloon may not have been carrying batteries on it, so because they are heavy. So instead they carry paper-thin solar panels. So the balloon's circuits and transmitters are only active when in strong sunlight, and other time it is completely quiet and powered down. So it's possible that in the weak Yukon sun at high latitude wouldn't have been strong enough to power the Whisper transmitter until later in that day. So a lot of us ask, with something open in the clear transmitting its call sign, why would the U.S. government not know what it is, that gives a pretty good, credible solution to that. So a lot of good information here on this article here. So this article is, this one is entitled, "The U.S. Air Force May Have Shot Down an Amateur Radio Pico Balloon Over Canada," published on February 16th, goes into a pretty good in-depth dive of this. So I'll throw it out to the group. Anyone else on this topic, please call now.
LAI.
Yeah, K0LAI, Larry, go right ahead.
K0LAI. I guess on our balloons now, we'll just have to put our call sign, maybe our frequency that we might be transmitting on, and maybe we should put an American flag on it too.
Yeah, absolutely. This is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, I was thinking exactly the same thing, and an extrapolation of that thought is unfortunately the U.S. government agency, I don't remember exactly which date, but as well as other government agencies have accidentally shot down airplanes full of citizens, innocent citizens. So I think that this is kind of, you can extrapolate this idea of why would the U.S. government, or why would any government just take that sort of action without really maybe taking a little bit, making a bigger dive into understanding what that device is. So it's an innocuous situation here, thankfully, but you may have to be putting a call sign physically written and the frequency that you can hear it on, right on the thing itself. So it's really an unfortunate situation, and it just kind of draws an eye to maybe it's the see and be seen. It's the airspace pilots kind of motto and just safety concerns. So it's quite unfortunate that this has happened.
Question, S.t.e.m.
W0TX repeater.
KE0 S.t.e.m. Jonathan, go right ahead.
For some reason, I have I like to call them mental mind farts. But Larry will know this. So like the geochrome that we use down at the store, how is that's connected? I cannot think of the little device. I want to say Pi-Star, but I don't think that's right. I'm just wondering how that's connected. It's basically a Wi-Fi connection with the TV and the software. But for some reason I can't, because I was thinking about, I'm sorry, Drone, I just drawn a blank on the name, KE0SUM.
SUM, this is K1DBC, not a problem. What was the product that you mentioned there? It sounded like JitChrome or something like that. Go right ahead.
I think it's called the geochrome software that displays the whole planet and has very powerful software for about $400. But we have one at the store and TV hung up above. But we connect with this little wireless device, and I don't know, for the life of me, I can't think of it.
LAI.
Okay, I think I know what you're maybe talking about there. Yeah, K0LAI, go right ahead.
Oh, what Jonathan's talking about is the geochron, which in the old days was mechanical, but you can still get a mechanical one. They're very expensive, but now we have the digital ones, and I think it has a Raspberry Pi inside it. I'm not sure, and I'm not sure what's driving it inside. Could be a Raspberry Pi or something similar, but it displays all kinds of information in real time. I don't know if it would display a balloon necessarily. It doesn't do APRS displays, but it does do like satellites, and it also does tracking of hotspots that are going on, but basically QSOs that are going on in real time, and it'll even show you in color what different bands the QSOs are being made on. And lately, it's been hot. There's been lots of QSOs going on normally.
Larry, I have to go ding, ding, ding on the nose. Though the little device is definitely Raspberry Pis, which I haven't played around much with, but I think they're fairly important. So thanks for the answer.
LEI again.
All right, sounds good. I'll throw it back to you here in just a second. Yeah, it's a Geocron device. Yeah, just a nice kind of command center, if you will, for ham radio. Gray line live spotting, whisper spotting, for example, in this one would have come in handy. There is a link to the Whisper site, and as mentioned, the hub or this club's site is down in general, but the Whisper traffic was also Whisper telemetry. There's no Whisper telemetry at all available for this one, but yeah, very, very cool stuff there. So yeah, really, really cool device, and really cool thing to be able to look at and see there. So yeah, K0LAI, go right ahead.
K0LAI. When Jonathan mentioned Pi-Star, that's the operating system that is used on some DMR devices, and it may be running on this too, I don't know, but Pi-Star is that, so that's what he was thinking of, but that's usually on a kind of an open spot type thing. K0LEI, back to net.
WD0CIV, WD0CIV, check in, no traffic.
All right, good chat here. Yeah, WD0CIV, Charles, got you checked in. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, really, really cool stuff here. Yeah, and it's still kind of a bit of a mystery. This K9YO balloon, but yeah, the jury's still out, I guess, as they say. So this is K1DBC Net Control. That was just one thing I can bring up. I'll throw it out to the group. Any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else for this evening's net you'd like to talk about? Please call now. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. That time we had KD9 URM. Paul, thank you so much for checking in. It was a bit scratchy in there. I did get your call sign. I wasn't sure if you had any other comments or questions. If so, let us know.
All right, Jerome, thanks for coming in. Have a weekend here. I just soldered up that little SWR indicator from QR specific antenna, and that was a fun little slide for the evening here tonight. But hopefully be able to plug that thing in and get a little bit of a read on that board.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, it's still a bit scratchy, but yeah, I got you in there about the SWR indicator kit. Yeah, glad to hear you got that soldered up. Yeah, let us know the results, and hopefully you had some fun doing that and some good practice soldering. So yeah, let us definitely know the results on that. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Just to reiterate on that. I think it was during our past past Elmer session, Paul had joined and told us about a soldering project he was working on, the QRP kits, SWR indicator kit. So for a measly sum of $15, you can get some soldering practice in, and an indicator for designed for power levels 0.2 to 5 watts, provides protection for transmitter, indicates matching the antenna by dimming the LED, and constructed on a 1.5 by 2.5 inch printed PCB board. So it includes some connectors here. Let's see, the parts kit was some resistors, capacitors, switch, LED. It's a fairly few, pretty standard kind of soldering kit for yeah, pretty basic. So it's yeah, pretty cool stuff there. So yeah, for $15, yeah, it's a pretty good project there and something to work on. So yeah, definitely let us know in the future.
HCF, s.t.e.m.
All right, we had a double in there. I heard s.t.e.m, but I also heard a call sign HCS, Hotel Charlie Sierra, I thought.
W0TX.
Hotel Charlie Foxtrot. The other can go first.
Kilo Echo 0, Sierra Uniform Mike.
All right, this is K1DVC. I swear I didn't have dyslexia until I started reading call signs constantly. So Jonathan and Jonathan as well. So KC8HCF, Jonathan. I'll get back to you here, no problem. And yeah, K0SUM if you want to go right ahead, Jonathan, go right ahead.
I find it fun to have two Jonathans around. Yeah, my parents gave me that name. But anyway, I was addressing Paul a little bit. This is an interesting project, and this is where I start learning things, because now you're talking about some serious QRP stuff. So that was just my comment. KE0SUM, back to net.
All right, sounds good. Absolutely, yeah. QRP 5 watts or below. There's a lot we can do digital modes nowadays, but it's always nice chasing the analog dragon, if you will. But yeah, a lot of cool stuff there. So yeah, the other Jonathan, just to add more confusion, no problem though. Love everyone here though. So KC8HCF, Jonathan, go right ahead.
Thanks. I was just going to mention a buddy and I actually ordered. We just got them in the mail yesterday. A couple kits from QRP kits as well. This is called the EZTR Switch version 3, and it's pretty small. It's maybe 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch board, but what I intend to use that for, you guys might be interested, is it's a switch that you could have hardwired, or have it run to your trigger switch on your transceiver, and we've made some loop on the ground antennas, and I was going to hook that up to disconnect it, because I picked up an STR play at the recent Swap Fest, and so it's $20 versus the $120 or $100 for like the MFJ STR play switches and everything. Just a little bit of elbow grease, and for $20, that was a really good deal. So I haven't put it together yet. I'll let you guys know. KC8HCF, back to net.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, that's a good call on that KC8HCF. Yeah, so in the latter part of that, you mentioned the MFJ SDR sensing TR switch for around $140, $150. Yeah, so if you want to use a software-defined radio as well as a regular transceiver, that's a good option. And as mentioned, really is the easy TR switch for all of $20. Looks like it can do kind of the same thing. Handles 150 watts over of RF over 160 to 6 meter band. So yeah, another pretty easy kit to get into, but actually provides a really good creature comfort, if you will. So yeah, software-defined radio for another all of $20, and then you can have a lot of cool stuff displayed on your computer. So yeah, really cool shout out on that. Really appreciate that, KC8 HCF. All right, this is Daron, K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, as you can see, this just goes to show that some of our niche issues they don't really require a lot of electronics potentially and a lot of cost. And some of our use cases can be met by building a little kit like this. So yeah, qrpkits.com for a lot of different stuff here. All right, this is Daron, K1DBC Net Control. I'll throw it out to the group at the moment. We have another 25 minutes or so. We usually run for about 60 minutes in total. At the moment, this is K1DBC Net Control. We're here. This is the DRC Learning Net, great place to learn about ham radio STEM topics with plenty of combined experience and expertise. My name is Daron. Call sign is K1DBC. So if you'd like to check in, or if you have any other comments, questions, projects you're working on, anything else, please let us know.
I can kill a couple minutes, Drone. KE0SUM.
Yeah, KE0SUM, Jonathan, go right ahead.
Now, I'm sitting here thinking about it. Let's say, definitely you have to think about it when you get general. I don't know, maybe it applies to everything, but it was definitely seemed like more of a general. I got an s.t.e.m 891 100-watt radio, very portable, and I wanted that for that reason. But then I started thinking over a course of time, it's like, oh, you can go a couple of different ways. The one way you can go is, let's go for more power. Let's go with an amplifier and larger antennas and etc. Or you can go over to, I don't know if it's the dark side or not, but I chose QRP. So I found several QRP radios and started playing around with 10 watts or less. So the G90 I have does 20 watts. So it became more of an experiment for me to transmit on lower power rather than higher power. I don't know, I probably have more thoughts, but I'll throw it back to the group and you, Daron. KE0SUM.
No problem, sounds good. Yeah, chasing DX, that is a big part of this. Hearing transmissions from and transmitting to places all over the world. So I wonder, what sort of modes? Are you doing voice or single sideband or digital modes? Or what sort of operations are you doing there?
Oh, I love single sideband. I became a ham once I found out we'd done away with the code.
HCEF.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff out there. Summits on the air, parks on the air, as we've talked about, and there's a lot of cool stuff about just getting out there and at the same time being able to transmit and receive signals halfway across the world. So it's a lot of cool stuff there. So yeah, HCF, KC8 HCF, Jonathan, go right ahead.
Yeah, I was just curious, talking about single sideband, if anyone is occasionally operating 2-meter single sideband. I know that's something that there's not as many people doing. Just curious.
Can I respond to SUM?
Good question there, HCF. Yeah, absolutely. Single sideband on 2 meters. We very briefly talked about it in the past, but yeah, I have not tried to do it myself. But yeah, SUM, Jonathan, go right ahead.
Well, there's actually a very active 2-meter single sideband group in this area. But I was also just curious because I can't do it because I don't have the radio that'll do it. So there aren't a lot of radios that do 2-meter single sideband, so I was wondering what you were running.
Is it all right to go ahead and reply directly, HCF?
Yeah, HCF, go right ahead, please.
I have a 7100, so fortunately it does. I was steered the right way by the gentleman that sold me the radio a few years ago, so I was planning on getting my general. So I've been using it for HF, and I just got a antenna cable run to the attic where I have a 2-meter 440. I think it's a diamond antenna there. So I have the capability. If you know where they generally meet and around when, I spun around yesterday, kind of looking for them, but haven't found them yet. Back to you.
Oh, shoot me an email. I'm good on QRZ. Kilo Echo Zero, Sierra Uniform Mike. Yeah, they do it on Monday nights, like 8 o'clock.
Okay, thank you for the information. Sometimes I'm home by that time. I work long hours, so but I might be able to make it on Mondays occasionally. So I appreciate that. Repeat your call one more time. I'll write that down.
Kilo Echo Zero, Sierra Uniform Mike. KE0SUM.
Okay, thanks, Jonathan. From Jonathan. Back to net.
TRP.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, I did find that it's a Rocky Mountain VHF Plus net from rmvhf.org 144.220 Monday evenings 8 p.m. 144.220 single sideband. I don't know if it's upper or lower. Upper sideband. TRP, go right ahead.
N0 TRP here. There's another net that's 8 o'clock in the morning, Monday through Saturday. It's called Beam Spinners Net. And that's all pretty active sideband net on 2 meters, 144.2. N0 TRP back to net.
AI.
All right, sounds good. This is K1DBC Net Control. I guess I need to get more acquainted with this as well. Yeah, beamspinners.net, Monday through Saturday mornings, 2-meter band 144.200. It looks like upper sideband, 8 a.m. Mountain Time. So yeah, really cool stuff there. So yeah, K0LAI, go right ahead.
K0LAI. It's actually kind of fun. I have a Yaesu FT897, which does single sideband on FM in the upper bands, in the VHF band, and but the only antenna I'm using is an Omni, which is a diamond. And they said I'm coming in not real weak, but weaker than someone with a Yagi or something. But I was able to pick up people that were transmitting from as far as Nebraska. And because they had the Yagi, when I answered back, they could hear me because it would amplify the signal. So, I'd say give it a chance. Even if you have an Omni antenna, try it. I mean, you're receiving and transmitting in all directions, and somebody should be able to pick you up because they can spin towards you. So just try it. It's fun. It's K0LEI. Back to net.
HCF.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, HCF, go right ahead.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I do have an Omni up there. I do have a handheld Yagi that I might try to rig up outside or something with that too, but I'll definitely give it a shot. I definitely appreciate all the information. Thank you, everybody, so much. KC at HCF, back to net.
All right, this is K1DBC net control. Okay, yep. Typically, the reason why we see single sideband on HF is because of the propagation and the gray line and everything we talk about. So your further can get signal can get further out there. And so yeah, over VHF, UHF, a little bit more limited, but because it's maybe a little bit less bandwidth, I'm not too sure, but yeah, at least it sounds good that these upper sidebands or lower sidebands can travel further even during the daytime and whatnot. So really cool stuff there. All right, this is Daron K1DBC net control.
K0 Kilo Zero Golf Papa Alpha check in. I was listening on the scanner before.
No problem, K0 GPA. Bob got you checked in. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I'll throw it out to the group. Any other comments, questions, check-ins? We have another 15 minutes or so. If you'd like to check in, if you have any comments, any stories you'd like to bring up, any recent projects, this hobby covers quite a lot of territory, so please let us know.
HCF.
KC8, HCF. Jonathan, go right ahead.
So I started the journey of, very slowly trying to learn Morse code. Still working on CW. And I found a lot of really good resources. I think some of the best were at the CW Ops webpage. And like I said, very slowly. I'm still on the first set of lessons, but after a week or two, listen to it on my lunch breaks and stuff. But since I got a good amount of information, I know I've seen some nets posted online, but if anybody here knows of any good CW learning nets or anything, or whereabouts I should be looking around for stuff like that, other than obviously the internet, I'd be welcome to any information you guys might have.
GPA.
All right, sounds good. HCF, good on you for trying to learn CW Morse code. Yeah, there's a lot to that. So yeah, really, really cool stuff there. It sounded like there was a double in terms of the response. We had a GPA and then there was somebody else in there.
I was just going to say, Bob, you should talk. You do a lot of CW. KE0SUM.
Sounds good. KE0SUM, Jonathan. This K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, K0GPA, Bob, go right ahead.
Okay, good place to start is on, look up SKCC, it's the Straight Key Club, and look that up, and they got their frequencies we use. Usually start like at 40 meters, 7051, and 14051, and I've been doing some on 10 meters too, since 10 meters been on open quite a bit, and they're on 28051, and usually you can hear them. They'll be calling CQSK numbers, or they'll just say CQ and then SK. That means they're looking for SKCC numbers. And you can sign up and get your own number on, just go to their website, they got a pretty good sized website. I was working quite a few of them in January, but yeah, they have a real good website on the SKCC, and they have a lot of posting stuff. Anyway, that's a good place to start. And also, I don't know if this resets with when you're on key or not. W1AW, they send out bulletins. Bulletins and CW practice at certain times of the day. You have to look them up on QST on ARRL website, K0GPA.
Good question.
All right.
HCF.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. We had s.t.e.m there with a question, and then HCF with a follow-up. Yeah, thank you for that, K0GPA Bob, mentioning the SKCC, the Straight Key Century Club, skccgroup.com, it looks like, and they have their frequencies on here, as well as the W1A1 operating schedule over on arl.org, so appreciate that. s.t.e.m, I guess, with a question. Go ahead.
So, Bob, I was curious if you're just starting to learn CW and code. Are they patient with you when you're a slower person as far as, how fast you can do code compared to, people can do 30 words a minute, probably like you. KE0SUM. Back to you, Bob.
Yeah, most of them, if you find somebody that's calling at the speed that you like, then most time they'll stick with the same speed. And some of them don't, though. And during contests, you never know what they do. They never want to slow down. But yeah, if you, like I said, just find somebody that's sending at a good speed and then just give them a call, and they usually will send the same rate. I do anyway, send the same rate. Sometimes it seems pretty slow for me, but that's usually what they do. And that ARRL website, they start at, I think, 5 words a minute sometimes, and go up to 20 or that, and then sometimes they'll start at 30-some and go down to 5, K0GPA.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. All right, definitely appreciate all the follow-up on that. I'll throw it over to HCF, KC8HCF. Jonathan, go right ahead.
Thanks again, everybody. I really appreciate that. That's good to know about the speeds and all. I'm still working on getting the listening skills down and practicing transmitting. Like I said, that CW ops site was really good. I kind of like their method of, just listening to the code and kind of starting to understand words. But the 5 words per minute, is that Farnsworth speed as well? Like, are they still sending 5 words per minute generally for the characters as well as the spacings? That's it.
I will refer that over to GPA or anyone else that knows that on the spacings of 5 words per minute. I'm not too sure on that. Go right ahead.
Okay. Yeah, they usually say to send the code at the letters and that at 14 words a minute, or try to do it, somewhere around there, or faster, and then you just have to space them for 5 words a minute. Otherwise, just send them like you would like sending 14 or 18 words a minute. That's what W1AW does anyway.
Question.
All right, hopefully that answered that question there. SUM with the question, go right ahead.
Well, Bob, when you do CW, which you do quite a bit, do you often get into, like, bats, and how long would they last? And you're like asking what the weather is in Italy. What's going on there?
Sometimes it can last an hour or more, and I've been on a couple of them that it lasted that long. But lately, most of them, well, you know, like on Parks on the Air, when I catch them on CW, they just give their call and then their park number and stuff and signal report. But every now and then you'll run into somebody that wants to rag chew a little bit on CW, and that can last up to an hour or so.
So do a lot of guys also want to work UDX?
Yeah, there's a couple on today that were working Spain on CW, and I think that was 10 meters. It might have been 20. But matter of fact, I got W18 ARRL on right now, W1AW, and they're sending a bulletin right now on CW. They send that about 18 words a minute. But yeah, there's a lot of people who use it for DX.
Thanks, sir, for the comeback. Yeah, always interesting. Always good to talk to you, Bob. KE0-M, back to you, Daron.
All right, sounds good, everyone. This is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, great conversation here. Yeah, it's what kept a lot of people out of the hobby for quite a while. But you know, it's nice to get back into it because there's a lot of. It's still CW is really QRP nowadays. So there's a lot of QRP rigs, a lot of QRP less than 5 watts, and you're gonna have to do either CW or voice, a single sideband or things like that. So still a lot of cool place for learning and practicing Morse code. So yeah, really cool stuff here. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Yeah, I mentioned that RSGB video about just all the topics of ham radio and what it covers, and one of the last things they said was find what you love doing, and because there's a lot of different aspects to this hobby. So yeah, whether it be QRP, CW, digital operations, there's all sorts of stuff here going on. All right, this is Daron, K1DBC Net Control. I'll put it out to the group. We have just a few more minutes here. No hard stop, but we usually end around 8:30 p.m. Mountain Time. Is there any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else you'd like to bring up for this evening's net? Please let us know. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. To very quickly recap what we talked about so far, is we talked about kind of a follow-up to some of the amateur radio balloons that have potentially been shot down. We talked about awareness of certain protocols and how amateur radio and other agencies should be able to see things in the air, things like that. We talked about soldering kits. There was a SDR indicator kit and a easy TR switch transmitter kit. So really cool stuff there. What else? Yeah, single sideband on 2 meters, and yeah, don't sleep on that. There's a lot of conversation there. And then, as we were recently just discussing, CW and Morse code. So I'll throw it out to the group. Anyone else? I can maybe bring up one thing else, but anything else for this evening's net, please call now.
W0TX repeater.
Daron, how come you're not a radio junkie like the rest of us? KE0-M.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. That is a great question there, s.t.e.m, Jonathan. Yeah, it's for me, this hobby is a lot about a lot of things. It's a lot more about the community, I guess. I don't know. It's a lot of my days, a lot of my life has been spent in IT, and I don't know. I should be more into it than I believe that I am, but I find my wants and needs in other areas. For example, our Discord server is a good example of kind of a lot of people that have a lot of different other interests in this hobby that don't necessarily surround being on the radio itself. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this is a K1 DBC. Yeah, I mean, I guess popular to contrary to belief. Yeah, I really just don't operate too much outside of running these nets. And in recent months, it's just been a little bit more time consuming on the admin stuff of the radio club. But this is Daron K1 DBC. I'll tell you something that I am interested in on that you guys might be interested in. This is K1 DBC Net Control. Again, a lot of my life I've spent in IT and working in IT jobs, and that's been a lot of my life, quite frankly. So information technology and a lot of this hobby and kind of a hobbyist community. So a pretty cool tool here, Flipper Zero. It's a portable multi-tool for penetration testers. Let me see. It's a tiny piece of hardware. Explore any kind of access control, RFID, radio protocols. It's a project to combine all the hardware tools you'll need for exploration and development on the go. So it's a kind of a DIY and transceiver, and it's just yeah. A lot of my love really goes into, I guess, the hobbyist hacker community. But a lot of it really is RF based nowadays. So we really couldn't do it without the RF community and you all really kind of teaching and guiding us. So I guess that hopefully probably tries to explain some of it. But yeah, I'll throw it over to Jonathan or anyone else on that. Go right ahead.
Well, as far as I know, you're using the Yaesu 857D, which is, it's a shack in the box, does everything you need. I don't know, for some reason I got into HTs, so I have like 2 Baofangs or in 5 Yaesus. Then I got into, of course, once you get your general, it's like, need some more radios. So I have 3 different HF radios that you can get by perfectly on your setup, Tron.
You are absolutely correct, s.t.e.m, Jonathan. This is K1 DBC. Yep, I have an FT857D 100-watt all-band multi-mode. So yeah, I have really no reasons or excuses. I was doing a lot of FT8s a few years ago. I was pretty big into that. I just have not really gotten too much into the voice contacts, unfortunately. I'm just not a big contesting person, and I guess that is a big part of this hobby. But yeah, there's definitely no excuse or reason for me not to be able to do it. So yeah, maybe I'll try to get my voice on the air a little bit more outside of these nets on some of these other nets and whatnot. So yeah, appreciate that. Thank you, Jonathan.
Well, I don't think I like contesting that much. I do the old miss, but I hunt POTA, and some of those are getting pretty active, and you can get pile-ups, but easy way to get some points and have some fun, and definitely talk to somebody for a few minutes. And a lot of times, you get to spend a little more time than just a check-in like a contest.
All right. Yeah, good suggestion there. Yeah, I definitely should start checking into maybe some of these other nets. Our net listings, there's some net listings out there, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there, and yeah, I don't know why I haven't really checked into too many other nets or used some of the HF operations of my radio, but yeah, I'm doing, I guess, what I enjoy doing at the moment. So hopefully everyone else is, and yeah, there's a lot to this hobby. So use the equipment that you have, because you may not have it one day. So yeah, I'll throw it out to the club or at the group. Anything else? for anything else this evening, please call now.
Oh, come on, Jerome. We're all waiting for you to get a solid full-time girlfriend. KE0SUM.
All right, this is K1 DVC Net Control. Yep, my love in this world is for certain things, and it's I'd love to see that as well one day. You know, we all, yeah. That's for another time, though. Appreciate that, Jonathan. All right, this is Daron, K1 DVC Net Control. All right, appreciate that. And on that bombshell, if you will, I think we might start to close the net out. Again, appreciate everyone checking in here. We appreciate the net, the group for allowing us to use their repeaters. We appreciate everyone who checks in as an Elmer or provides any sort of help. So we definitely appreciate that. We had a total of 16 check-ins. Again, youtube.com/Denver Radio Club, and on all most social media, Denver Radio Club. So I'll throw it out. One last call. Any final call, check-in, comment, question? Please call now. All right, this is Daron, K1 DBC. If you are watching on the YouTube, I'm going to play a few minute video here by Jerry Ellsworth, call sign AI6TK. Kind of really goes into kind of a lot of what we talked about here, you know, about how we can all inspire each other and the youth, and how important this hobby really is. So check that out if you want. This is Daron, K1 DBC Net Control. I really appreciate everyone checking in here. Join us next week, 1930 hours, 7:30 p.m. for the next Learning Net. This is K1 DBC 7.3, and I will be cleared. All right, appreciate everyone checking on here, and hear these inspirational words.
Forever, I will have a warm, fuzzy spot in my heart for Pacificon. Yeah. And I've been learning a lot about ham radio too in the last several years as well, and I think it's really neat, and it's really humbling to think. On my sorry, I didn't want to get emotional. All of the Elmers that helped me out when I was a kid, they're silent keys now. They don't even realize, they never realized that they set in motion me being a ham 20 years later, right? And I think about that a lot, like what we can all do as ham radio operators, kind of giving that nudge to the youth and our friends, and that it plants the seeds, and someday that they'll be ham radio operators or engineers. You know, what can happen with my YouTube channel, like some random kid might stumble onto it and see something that inspires them. So I think in closing, I think you're not always going to see the fruits of your efforts, but it's so worth it, trust me. I could have never been, an engineer. I could have never worked on rockets. Could have never been a prankster on the phone. Without, guidance from ham radio operators and other mentors along the way. So,
W0T.
With that, I think I'm going to wrap it up.
Mike is going to have last question.
So there you go. Appreciate that. Everyone have a good evening.
NBC Television.